Hey everyone, well, it looks like it's my turn. So, let's just get into it. So I have put a lot of thought into what I should make. Should, make a cabochon or a piece of jewelry, or, make another one of those agate blade knives like I made for agate angler. And personally, I think my strong suit when it comes to creating with rocks would probably be my carving. So, I'm going to do something that I've been meaning to do for a while and make a soapstone carving. I'm using soapstone because it's going to be a little intense. Alright, I've got a flat base made. So, I think we just need to start smoothing everything out so that I can get a pattern on. I'm just trying. Big carvings like this, it's a little interesting. You never know where to start, so you'll sit there and just overthink it, when in reality you should just start. Okay, so we've got this down to a more uniform shape that is going to be way easier to go about carving. And man, this Montana soapstone is something special. That color is just phenomenal. It looks so good when it's polished. And I see some light fracturing, but as I'm going down deeper, they're pretty much going away for the most part. There's one crack right here that I'm a little concerned about, but it, shouldn't be a problem. Let's just wing it anyway. So yeah, now that we're to this point, I think we can start roughing out a shape. And I'm not even going to bother saying what it is, because, you've seen the title and thumbnail. Okay, well, I am going to stop before I get too far, just to lay out kind of what the rough idea is. So, we want to rough out this shape. Very rough shape. And, yeah, you may notice that it doesn't have wings or horns. Well, those are going to be way too fragile, especially with soapstone, if we try carving them all together. So we're actually going to carve the horns and wings separately and attach them on afterward. Okay, so we are pretty much there for roughing, at least an outline. I'm not doing the legs because I'm still not quite sure where they're going to be placed, so you don't want to, cave out a spot and then realize that's where the foot needed to go or something like that. But yeah, you can see that there are still the tight spots that I have not yet gotten into, and that is because we still have to work on the above profile, so the head needs to get thinned down, chest will be pretty wide, and then taper as we get further back. So, yeah, the thinner these spots are, the higher risk there is of them breaking. Alrighty, so we are really starting to get our shape to come together. This part is always so weird because you know what it's gonna look like, but it's still just always a little odd looking. Also, side note, I never realized how strange a dragon looks if you take away its horns and wings. It basically just turns into a very inaccurate depiction of a sauropod. It's definitely starting to come together. I'm sorry I'm not talking more. It's just, there's not a whole lot I can actually, explain. It's just really just taking off what, needs to be shaped down a bit. I guess leaving these areas here that are going to be really thick until you are pretty much done with that. I just separated those front two legs. I need to get in there a little better. So we could start doing the feet probably, and the legs a little bit better. But yeah, for the rest, it's just going to have to be part of refining. I'm sure it's infuriating if you're not a carver, but yeah, my dad has a hilarious story where one of his friends is a master carver, carves amazing eagles and stuff, and yeah, he has this hilarious story where a person asked him, how do you make these carvings? It's like, well, first you rough out your shape, and then you take off everything that doesn't look like an eagle. And it's probably so irritating if you don't carve, but it's so true.
Like, yeah, we just roughed out our very rough shape, and now we're just taking off everything that doesn't look like a dragon.
All right, so we've got the body roughed for the most part. It is it's coming along nicely. And you'll see that on this tail, I have it connected everywhere I can, because everywhere it is connected is a spot that's stronger. So it's wrapping over and touching this leg. We will not separate that, and then it wraps around and touches this leg, which again, we will not separate. And that is going to make this nice and rigid and have some good connection points. If I made a big long tail that just came straight back, I would snap it probably 100 times before the end of this carving. So yeah, so next we're just going to take one of these round tip doodles right here, and we're going to go in here and lower this down and start refining the legs. Okay, now you can see we've got the outline of the feet roughed in. You can see now, sorry, let me take my mask off. Ah, that's better. All right. How it kind of budges out. Well, you probably could if it was actually focused. There we go. Like right in here and then down in here. And that is why I left the legs so bulky, because I did not yet know how far down they were going to need to go. So, yeah. Okay, so I think we have the dragon pretty much roughed out. So I think it is time now to start adding or working on the other stuff that's going to be going onto it, which would be the horns and wings. Obviously this isn't done yet. We've got to add some more detail in the face, refine a little bit more, and obviously sand and polish, but that can come later. One thing that's super important when you're doing really intense projects like this is if there are multiple steps, bounce between. You're going to get bored, and you will not be as productive when you're bored. So yeah, I'm switching to the horns now. And for the horns, I think they're going to be awesome. We are going to use gold tiger eye. Alright guys, I finally got what I was waiting for, so let's get going on some wings for this guy. Alright, so, yeah, we're not using rock for the wings. I was going to do it out of, like, the whole piece to add them on. I was like, no, they're just going to be really fragile. And then I was like, well, I could use slabs of some kind, but it's just going to add a lot of weight, especially if we make them, big and good looking. So I think we're actually going to use some resin. I know, I'm sorry. I let you all down. Anyway, though, yeah, we're going to use resin. It's going to be really easy to carve, and we can mix some dyes in there, so we can actually match that soapstone color pretty well. I think it'll be easy to do. First things first, we just need to make, like, a dam. Okay, so To make our putty mold that we can pour our resin into, we're going to need some cornstarch, which is what this is, and silicone. And this is going to be the fastest, easiest way to just make a good putty mold. And yeah, they're great because the resin just releases right off of it. Great for mold making. Alrighty, well, this is set up, and yeah, it's nice and rigid, so we're ready to pour. If I get it wet, you can see that's what it's going to look like once it's polished. So that's the rough green that we're trying to match. And the beauty of this particular type of resin is you can actually just use acrylic paint, which makes your life really easy, and it's way cheaper than paint dyes or resin dyes. Okay, those are poured and ready to go. I actually only just did one because, I mean, if you look at the size, that should be plenty big enough to get 2 wings out of. Waste of resin to pour 2 and then, you know, get rid of half of it anyway. But I did have a little left over, so I filled one of my other molds. So we're going to let that set up overnight, and we can probably pop it out tomorrow. Okay, it has set up, as you can plainly hear. So yeah, we're pretty much just going to pop this off. And yeah, looks like it cured really nicely, actually. Go around the edge, do the thing. Alright, yeah, that's pretty good. It's alright, the wax paper stuck a little bit, but that is fine. We're going to be sanding everything level anyway, so yeah, perfect. Also, you probably noticed that I did this. I always use any leftover resin into molds, so yeah, why not have a shiny green lightning weld, you know, which turned out pretty well, and that's a good, you know, indicator for how the other resin is, because this cured beautifully. So yeah, anyway, let's get back to it. Alrighty, well, flatten both sides, and that's because it's going to make it way easier to get my template glued on, but it also is going to help when I take it to the bandsaw, and yeah, need a flat surface for it to move properly. So let's get our pattern glued on twice, and yeah, pretty much nearing the home stretch of this.
It was at that moment that Theo first asked himself, is this too far? Could this mythical creature have benefited more from simplicity? Or is the act of challenging oneself to push farther what truly makes creation inherently worth doing? At the end of the day, is there even an answer to such a profound question?
Oh man, I got resin in my coffee. one's done. And yeah, all it's gonna need is sand up to like 600 grit. And then we'll put our glaze coat over top, and that'll bring that shine back up. So yeah, we're like done. Other than the fact that I have to do that again. Those are put away in a dry spot where they're not going to get dust on them. So yeah, we'll come back tomorrow and see how they cured. All right, well, while those are curing, let's finish our dragon. Alright guys, we've reached probably the scariest part of this entire project. I have one eye shaped, rough shaped, and this is where things get terrifying, because if I mess up that second eye, it could make or break this entire project. And symmetry isn't exactly my strong suit, so I'm very, very nervous about this. If his eye is off on the other side and not identical, it's gonna be a bad story. So, excuse the mess that is my bench, by the way. I'm gonna have to calm my nerves a little bit, and the only way I know how. Well, that's just too entertaining. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Alright. I'm sure the person who discovered non-Newtonian fluid, was probably mind blown. Because I'm mind blown right now. Alright, that helps. I'm definitely more calm now. Alright everyone, the time has come. We have our base polish on, which we can finish once we're done with the next part. But next step is feet. Do the feet, and then we'll polish the scratch pattern out of the feet, and then it's time to assemble. Alright, well, after over 100 hours, well over, and a project that I started in December, what might be my coolest carving yet. It's finally done. Wait, no, wrong one. This is a different video. Alright, well, that was quite the undertaking, but it's done and it looks fantastic. I hope you all enjoyed that one, because it was a lot of fun to make. To all of my fellows that took part in the challenge, thank you so much. It's just been so much fun, and yeah, know that if any one of you find your way to Montana, I will happily go rock hunting with you any day. Alright, well, with that, I think that wraps up our first ever Maker's Challenge, and it was just so awesome, such a fun week, and yeah, it's gonna be the first of many, I promise that. We'll probably be doing another one this year, but yeah, it's been a blast, and huge thank you to everyone who has taken part, and I'll have a link to every channel in the description. Alright, but with that, I think that's going to wrap this one up. So, yeah, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're into this kind of stuff, because we do it all the time. I'll have links to my Facebook group and Instagram in the description as well, and also to my store. And yeah, that's going to do it. Again, thank you all so much for enjoying this, and take those who took part, thank you too. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this awesome event and look forward to the next one.